When you went to these clubs in Korea, what would you do? Like, how did you prepare for the night? How did you dress? How did you get there? Once you got inside the club, what would you do? Like, first of all, would you make plans with your friends ahead of time, a few days in advance, or is it just that night you're like, hey, let's go?
Um, or I would just get invited out. Maybe around 6 or 7, and like my friend would call me and say, "Oh, hey, like we're all hanging out at this club," and then I'll be like, "Okay, cool, like I'll be there." So I would get ready, like wear like all black, wear like a nice jacket, put like what's it like? I would put like stuff in my wax in my hair, like use like BB cream, use cologne, and then I didn't want to, go on a subway and spend like an hour and a half on a subway, so I just like took a taxi to the club
Which
to save
clubs would
time.
be like, what were some of the clubs, famous clubs back then that you would go to a lot?
Back then there was LOE, Syndrome. Um, there's so many. Like I can't remember all of them, but A Club.
Was Octagon a big club then?
Oh, yeah, Octagon too. Yeah, Octagon was like one of the top 10 clubs in the world at the time.
How is that ranked? I mean, what is that ranked by? Top 10?
Uh,
Based on what?
I'm not sure, but I guess probably the venue, maybe the vibe, the kind of music that they have.
So when you got into these clubs, you'd be dressed in all black. You'd have BB cream and hair, like
Mm-hmm.
your hair would be waxed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then what? Were you also wearing shades or?
Oh no, I don't wear shades like going clubs. Like
So you'd go in the club and then what? You see a pretty woman and then what do you do?
well, like when I went to the clubs, like there would be like a huge line, but since my club promoter friends knew the security guard in the front, and the security guard knew me, like I would just like walk through the front without having to wait in line and like look at like people like being like, what the heck, like how does this like foreigner guy get in before us? So I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool, like I'm gonna go through, and like I would just like bow to the security guy, and like he would just bow to me too, and we like smile at each other, and then like I would go down and like say like, oh yeah, I'm at this table, and like get my bracelet thingy, and then meet up with my friends and like, oh hey, how's it going, like what's up bro, and then like we just like sit down and like just drink.
Okay, so where do you go there to meet women? So how do you meet the women there?
Either like they would come to your table, or you can just like go up and talk with them.
They would actually come to your table and say hi.
Mm-hmm. But like there was this one okay, there's this one girl, like I was just like talking with people, and then like this girl said like, oh yeah, this girl likes foreigners, and I was like, oh really, oh I'm a foreigner, and I guess it was like some kind of event, like some kind of Valentine's Day event or something, and then like I would be like, okay, like come with me, like come to my table, and then I would like sit down and like show her like pictures, and then she'd be like, oh wow, and then I would just like flirt with her, and then have some drinks and make out.
What are you showing pictures of?
uh like houses and stuff.
What do you mean houses?
Like family houses and stuff.
Oh, your family owns multiple homes,
Yeah.
and you would show them.
Yeah, it was like it changes people's like minds, I guess.
So you would go to the club, and then you would meet these girls, and you would show them your family's homes on your phone. And what are you saying? Like, hey, this is my home, and this is our second home, and our like. How does that work?
Oh yeah, pretty much like what you described. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is like blah 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 home. This is da da da. This is da da da. And then be like, oh wow, like, oh nice. They'd be like that, and
They
have
give you a
like,
thumbs up.
Yeah.
And then they start making out with you, or what?
Or this one girl did, and then she was like, "Oh, I have to use the bathroom," and then like when girls at a club say, "Oh, I have to use the bathroom," like that's kind of like code word for like they're not gonna come back. So like I just joked around with her. I was like, "Oh, kojima hajima," like don't say like something like don't lie to me, like just like as a joke, like okay, like are you gonna come back? And like I was like, "Oh, yakusok," or we there's like a special like kind of like um promise thingy that you do in like Gangnam, I guess, or
So in that one situation, you showed pictures of your homes,
mhm.
and then she made out with you, and then said she had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So I joked around with her and said like, "Oh, don't lie and like not come back." And then she's like, "Oh, like yeah, I'll come back."
Did she?
Well, like I had to go to the bathroom too, so I went to the bathroom, and then like as soon as I got out, like this other guy was like in front of her, like getting her like number. So I was like this guy's nothing. So I just like walked up to her and like put my arms like around her shoulder, and then I just like laughed and like took her outside of the club, and we sat on a bench and like made out.
Okay. And then?
And then she's like, I was like, oh, like maybe we should go somewhere. And then she was like, oh, like my friends are contacting me, like I have to go. So she left, and then she ended up calling me like the next day, and I was like, oh hey, like yeah, like I had a good time. But then like as you know, like I slept too much like the next day, right? So like I was like super happy to get a call. But then when I when I saw her cacao picture, I was like, what the heck? Like this isn't what she looked like yesterday night. So I was like, oh, I'm not interested anymore. So the next time she called, I kind of just like ghosted her, and I didn't answer the phone call. And like when she called, I was like, oh no, she's calling again. And
So you seduced her with your homes,
yeah,
but when you saw her cacao picture, you weren't interested anymore.
yeah, because she looked like totally different. Like she didn't have lashes, like she didn't have makeup. It
Do
was
you think
just
women
like,
naturally look like they have makeup on?
well, like yeah, like I was like, she looked like an idol, like at the club. But then like the next day, I was like, oh man, she's not my type. So I was like, I don't want to hurt her feelings too much and tell her I'm not interested. So I'm just gonna ghost her and like just leave it at that, and like she'll find someone else.
Do you think maybe that's true for many of the women that you meet at clubs, that if you saw them without their makeup and lashes, that you wouldn't be interested?
Uh,
Or do you think they all naturally look like that when they wake up in the morning?
I don't know. Like I always thought like most girls were like naturally good looking. Like I thought like makeup was just like supplemental, but that night I found out it was like total transformation.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was kind of shocked.
What about the girl that the one you had a 1 month relationship with?
Mhm.
I mean, was she the same way?
Not really, but she was still like super pretty.
Okay. So you spent a lot of time in clubs, and yet the one person you had a relationship, you did not even if it was only for a month, you
Hmm.
didn't even meet her in a club.
Oh no,
You met her at work, wasn't it?
yeah, I met her at
Where you
work.
were teaching English.
Hmm.
And what was she doing? Was she a student?
She was an intern.
An intern.
Mhm.
Okay. And then how did you get to, start connecting with her, and how did it happen?
Well, like my boss at the time just introduced me to her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this is da da da, like the new intern." I was like, "Oh hi, like I'm blah blah blah. Nice to meet you." And then inside, I was like, "Whoa, she's like super hot. Like she's gorgeous. But of course, like on the outside, I played it cool. So I was just like really nice to her and like gave her like a little bit extra attention, and just little by little got to know her. And I was like, "Hey, what's your Kakao talk like?" And then like we became closer and closer until I eventually like asked her out.
Hmm. So how did you guys like bond? Did you guys like hang, like have fun at work? I mean, would you guys like send love notes to each other? What would happen there?
I would do stuff like send her like coffee. Like I would have like a kid give her like coffee, like a coffee can, and say, "Oh, it's for me."
Oh, so you would
So
buy like a canned coffee
mhm,
and then you would give it to one of the student children
mhm,
and I would say, hey, go give this to the intern. And she
mhm.
would say, oh, it's from this guy.
Oh yeah, because she was always like talking about how she was like tired and she had it rough sometimes. So I
Hmm.
wanted her to feel better.
Mm. So what else did you do to make her feel better? I mean, you got her coffee. I mean, did you give her like flowers or make her laugh or anything? I mean,
Yeah, like I'll make her laugh like all the time.
you made her laugh all the time.
Yeah.
How? How do you make her laugh all the time?
Well, like I would just make situational jokes. Like one of our bosses had like a lazy eye.
A lazy eye.
Yeah. So like she'd be talking to you like straight on, and like one eye would be like like curves, like like pointing like this, like in another direction.
Right.
So I would just like impersonate her in front of my girlfriend, and then she would like laugh like crazy because
How would you impersonate an eye? Like, how do you do that?
well, like I use like a lot of like hand gestures and stuff. So like whenever the teacher well, oh no, whenever our boss would address all the teachers, she would like have them all like gaggle in front of her with like the Korean staff sometimes. And so I joked around about her, like, okay, everyone, blah 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 blah, and then like have her like eyes like move like this, like crazily, like a cartoon, because she was like a really strict boss, and I joked around about like how her eyes are everywhere. So I just joked around about like her lazy eye, like scanning everyone and seeing what everyone's doing, and she's
That
like
was
laughing.
how you would joke with your future girlfriend,
Yeah,
and she would
it was
laugh about that.
yeah, just like really like childish jokes, like cartoony type stuff.
I see. And I guess you would be romantic as well. I mean, sending her the coffee, but would you like
Mhm.
write notes, like in Korean or anything like
Uh,
that?
yeah, like I think like when I talked to her on Kakao Talk, I would use as much Korean as I could. Um, Whenever we hung out, like I would always take her to her home by taxi, like never by subway. Um, so like I
Why?
didn't because she lived like the very northern tip of Seoul, and I lived in Boondong, which is like I think by car maybe it's like 50 minutes away. Um,
That's a long taxi ride.
yeah, but by subway it's a lot longer. I think like 2 hours or an hour and a half. So I didn't want her to feel burdened just to see me. So I wanted to be a gentleman and take her home, hold her hand.
And then you would also take a taxi back home after that.
Yeah,
Wow.
because we hung out like late at night, and like I wanted her to enjoy the night as much as possible. And
That must have made a huge dent, financially to take such long taxi rides. How much was it each way then?
I think it was probably like 30, maybe 30,000 won, like 30 to 40. I forgot,
Hmm.
but I just know it was pretty expensive because I paid for everything on the or for the date. Like I paid for like the main course, and she would have manners too, and like pay for coffee. But I pretty much paid the majority of the expenses of the date.
But anyway, it was about a month, right? And
Mhm.
I guess it was an expensive month.
Yeah, like pretty much all my salary went to hang out with her, and then I went to America, so all my savings went to my plane ticket.
So you never had a relationship prior to her?
No,
How about after?
uh, like I went on dates, but by the third date with other people,
Hmm.
it didn't work out.
So in your whole life, your one relationship was in Korea, and it was for 1 month. But most of that you think is because your standards were too high, you think?
Yeah, totally. Because I had girls that liked me, but I was just too picky, and or like there would be like rules that I followed. Like one of my Hyung's sisters liked me, but I didn't want to ruin my friendship with my Hyung, my brother, my friends. So I didn't want to be like that kind of guy that just went for anyone. Like I wanted to respect him.
How do you know when a girl likes you? Are you sure that they like you, or are they just being nice? I mean, do they tell you they like you?
There's a lot of different ways that you can tell. Like when you talk to them, like there's something called like indicators of interest. Not sure, like when they talk with you, they'll like ask you like a lot of questions, and like they'll like uh play with their hair. Like their eyes would be like glazed. They would blush a
Glazed
lot.
eyes?
Yeah, like you can tell like the pupil kind of like expands.
It dilates?
Oh yeah, dilates. Yeah,
And that's how you know they're interested.
yeah.
They're not just being nice, maybe?
Um, like for text, yeah, I think it's hard. Like it's easy to think like, oh, someone likes me via text, but I realize now, like a lot of girls are just like friendly. But there was like a few girls that I knew that were like genuinely interested in me because like they would say like stuff like, "Oh, I think you can have like a girlfriend soon," and they would like smile at me, and like they would like take time to like meet up with me, but I was just kind of dumb and didn't pick up on those signals. Um, so yeah, like I had like that situation happen, or like I had missed opportunities where I would connect with someone, but because I was supporting a friend's, I didn't make any moves and ask for their contact information. I just, you know, totally supported my friend and just was a third
Right.
wheel.
I mean, since you bring up things like indicator of interest and
Mhm.
touching their hair and their glazed eyes and pupils dilated, I know you've been a student of the art of pickup. Um, you've even written some books about it, actually, haven't you?
Oh yeah, like I actually used a pen name because I didn't want like those kind of like books to be associated with me, like with my real name.
So you wrote
So
some books on how to pick up women or how to meet women, but you wrote it under a pen name.
yes, because um like of course like on the internet there's something called a digital tattoo, and I don't want something like that to be associated with my real name or who I am. Like for me, like that's just a way to make money, like passive income.
How long? I mean, are you willing to give the name of the author here, or is that a secret?
uh I guess you can. Oh no, I guess it has to be a secret.
Okay, so how many books have you written?
I wrote 7 books,
Wow.
but they're published or they're written by someone else, so the writing is actually outsourced.
So there are 7 ghost-written books that you've published under your pen name.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, are all 7 books about picking up women?
No, it's about four. Four of them are like body language, texting, conversation, things like that. The other books are more like self-help books, like personal finance, emotional intelligence, things like that. Because relationships and emotional intelligence, like those kind of niches, are evergreen niches. Like they're the content will usually always sell. Like you'll always make at least like some kind of profit in those kind of niches, those kind of topics.
So the people who wrote these books, are they experts in that field? I mean, how do they write these books?
Um, they're not necessarily experts, but they're people that can, they can write particularly well, like better than the average person. So what they do is they'll research a topic, and you give them an outline of the book, and they'll just fill in the book according to that outline.
Hmm. Uh, Now, these books, how long are they generally? Like, are these big books or?
Uh, or not necessarily big books, because on Amazon the strategy is to write books that are short reads.
Mhm.
So the books that I made initially were 5,000 words, but I realized like that's too small. Like you want to write books that are like 15,000 to 25,000 words.
Which is how many pages approximately?
Um, maybe around 80 plus pages.
Hmm.
So they're books that you can probably read in an afternoon or a couple days. They're meant to give you like just the gist of the information that you need. Like they're not like novels that are super long, like super long guidebooks. Like
Hmm. When you have these books written by ghostwriters, and
Mhm.
they send it to you and you can have them change something, or is what they give you the final product?
Yes, so there's something called revisions. So I guess you can, like, depending on the content mill or the ghostwriter, you can have maybe up to like 3 revisions until like you have to pay extra.
Have you read all your books?
Yes, so I just made sure like they have like basic information that's useful, because you want to provide something of value to people.
So your 4 books on women like texting or dating or whatever,
Mhm.
would you say they're good books?
Um, I'd say they're okay. Like they're not perfect. Um, I actually had people write reviews for my books. So
You
that's
have,
one of the reasons.
you have fake reviews?
Yeah, because like all the gurus like that are online kind of teach this, to where you go on Fiverr or Upwork and you pay like people from Pakistan, Bangladesh to write reviews for your books to boost up your books. So I'm guilty of that, but it's one of those things that like everyone does. So if you see a review like on a book that doesn't have quite like native level English, then for sure it's like a fake review.
So you can't trust anything anymore, can you?
No, not at all, because a lot of the products on Amazon
Hmm.
are from China. They're just private labeled, so it's the same product with some other company's logo on it.
And the reviews are all fake. They can be just purchased.
Yeah, pretty much. So even like the products that have like thousands and thousands of reviews, they were probably just like first to market, and they got all the reviews first. So
So how are your reviews then?
um the fake ones are good. The real ones are like kind of not so good.
Wait, so the fake reviews that you pay for, they praise your books, and then the ones, the people who actually bought your book, they don't rate it so well.
Yeah, like actually it's funny because when I was kind of lazy, like I just trusted the people from like on Upwork to make like good quality reviews. But what happened was I would pay for like 25 reviews that cost like $1.20 each, and I would get like a bunch of like weird reviews with like screenshots of like weird passages of my book, and the English would be like terrible.
Wow.
Or like sometimes the review would be like on something that's not related to my book, like that's slightly different. um and I was like, what the heck? Like, so I just ended up writing my own reviews for my books because I read the book myself. And I would send it over to Upwork and, you know, have them distribute the reviews to their people, and those people would buy my book when it was free and leave a review that I wrote myself. So
So it's a fake product, a fake name written by a ghostwriter,
yeah.
fake author with fake reviews.
Yeah. So
That's
you
amazing.
can't trust anything out there. Like, you always have to do your own DD, your due diligence.
Yeah, but for people, due diligence is looking at reviews, but the reviews are fake too.
Yeah. So
Wow, it's
only trust like bestsellers from established authors. Like, no, don't trust like self-published authors.
wow, that's amazing. Okay, so back to Korea. What are some what are some good memories you have from there? Memorable things, whether positive or negative. Maybe some experiences or funny things that happened.
Oh, okay. I went to this beach called Gyeongpode,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really cool because it was like a different side of Korea that I didn't really experience. Like, it was kind of like in the countryside area, like Gangwon-do, I guess. And like, I got to go deep sea fishing with my hyungs, and we experienced like camping. But the funniest thing was, like, as a Westerner, I'm not used to, Korean bathrooms. So when I used the bathroom, it ended up very badly, and I didn't have an extra set of clothes. So I don't know, like, I had to.
What do you mean? What happened? Are you talking about the like a pit instead of a toilet that you sit on?
No, they didn't have like a Western toilet. It was like one of those like Korean style toilets where you had to squat.
Right, right.
So yeah, like, long story short, like, one of my pants got messed up and I had to clean it with soap and water, and I was out of like pants that
So you
entire
were
night.
squatting, but you squatted over your pants
Yeah,
and you dropped into your pants.
or like, like, my shorts were at my ankles, but I was really like germophobic, so I was like holding myself up, and like my arms were all shaking, and like, yeah, it somehow got on my pants, like some of it. And
Just some of it. Okay.
yeah, but I had like a really long shirt at that time, so I was walking around, Gyeongpode Beach with no underwear, just like a really long shirt, and I was like super embarrassed. But luckily it was like super dark, so nobody like really found me.
Who were you with?
Just my young, like my brothers, and
Did they know?
yeah, because they started laughing and stuff.
What else?
Because they were like, "Hey, yeah, like, you're like a kid." Because I was like, "Hey, I'm not used to this. I'm like a Westerner. Like, I can't like use the bathroom like a Korean like cans." Because like, they'll like teach me, like they demonstrated like, oh, mambogi, like that was my nickname, like mambok. So
Mom book.
like, oh, eat okay. Like, they're like tell me like, oh, you have to go like this, and they'll like demonstrate it to me. But even though they demonstrated it to me, like, it still didn't work. So yeah, it was a really like traumatic experience. Like, I had to like wash my hands and wash my pants and underwear and stuff. And I was like super embarrassed because I was walking around like no underwear,
Hmm.
and had to carry a trash bag with my clothes.
Wow. Okay. Um, any other interesting experiences?
Uh,
Anything really, was that the most embarrassing?
uh, trying to think. Oh, yeah. There was one time I went to a night, which is kind of like a Korean style club.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with like a foreigner friend.
Different from the other clubs that you go to, you mean?
Oh no, it was totally different. It was like an English teacher at this school that I was with. He was another like, public school teacher. And me and him met up with my hyungnim, which is like an older friend. And we went to a place called a Knights. And we ended up drinking a lot of soju and makju, which is like beer. And I ended up getting like super drunk and trying to dance with everyone. But I guess some guys got mad at me because I tried to dance with like everyone. And then I didn't want to leave the dance floor. So the security guys like tried to kick me out, but I didn't want to leave. And I just kept dancing. And then eventually like I got kicked out. And then I just remember like being in a taxi and then giving my card to the taxi driver and like getting charged, even though like my hyung gave me money, and I passed out and I woke up on the street with like firefighters over me and saying like, hey, like people called about you. So I was like really embarrassed, and I had like a sunburn on my face because I passed out in public, like on the street, like on the sidewalk. And then I just apologized, like, oh, it's just on me though, I'm sorry. And like I just left and went to my apartment.
You were passed out on the street?
Yeah, because I drank too much.
Why did you drink so much that night?
Because I wanted to show off to my young name that I could drink a lot. So
And you couldn't.
I could. So yeah, I just woke up on the street with a sunburn, and my laptop, no, my tablet got stolen, and my glasses.
So when you woke up, the sun was out and beaming on your face.
Yeah, and I had like a sunburn on my face. I
Oh
was
my
like, what the heck? Like my skin was like kind of bright red and sunburns.
With your tablet and your glasses stolen?
Yeah, I had a small bag with me. Yeah. And when my youngs called the taxi driver, he was like, "Nope, there was nothing in my car." So till this day, I never found out like what happens.
Why did you take a tablet with you to a club?
Oh, because it had my house pictures on it. Because the screen was big, right?
You wanted to meet girls at this club and show them pictures of your house on an even bigger screen.
Yeah.
And instead, you got in a cab and you were passed out, even with the sun up, burning your skin,
Yeah.
and your tablet was gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It had a password on it, so I guess the data is protected. But
What kind of tablet was it? Was it like an iPad?
no, it was like a Google Nexus 7. Like at the time, it was like a really popular tablet.
Was it like really expensive?
No, just maybe like $200.
Mm-hmm. So you were dropped off where, like a block from where you lived, or what?
Yeah, about a block. So it wasn't too far.
So you were passed out on your back.
Yeah,
And what time was this that somebody woke you up?
maybe like 9, 9:30, 10, around that time.
On a Sunday?
Yeah, yeah, it was a weekend. So it was just like right outside of a Home Plus.
A Home Plus?
Yeah, like across the street from one. So when I look back, I'm thinking like probably like thousands of people
What's a
just saw
Home
that.
Plus?
A Home Plus is kind of like a store for like home goods, I guess.
Like a Best Buy or something, or like, I mean, like a
maybe like a Walmart.
Target?
Yeah, Target or Walmart.
So you're outside of a Target,
Yeah,
flat on your back with the sun burning your face,
yeah,
passed out with your tablet gone.
yeah,
And one good Samaritan woke you up to see if you were okay.
yeah.
It wasn't a cop or anything. It was just a random
Oh no,
person.
it was like a group of firefighters.
A group of firefighters.
Yeah.
Were they saying it in Korean or in English?
No, I was surprised because he was like speaking English.
What was he saying?
Like, hey, like a lot of people called about you.
A lot of people were calling about you.
Yeah,
There's
because
some passed out Filipino in front of the Target.
yeah, but I had like nice clothes on. Like I had like a.
Oh, you're wearing all black, right?
Oh no, this time it was like a one of those like coat jackets with like the belt, like the nice belt, and it was like beige colored and yeah, like. But that was the only time like I was drunk and woke up.
Hmm. And then you got up, and then what happened? You just were like, "Where am I?" Or
Yeah, I was like, is this a dream? And then I was like, oh no, it's not. Like my face hurts. I have a sunburn. And then I just like apologized and went home.
you walked home.
Yeah.
And were you embarrassed? Were people looking at you?
Uh, mm, I don't think so, because like it was like I had to walk through an alley, but I wasn't thinking of other people at the time. I was just thinking of like going home and taking a shower.
Where were you living at the time?
um, I think it was by Gubundari Station, like not too far from Chonho. It was in Gangdong-gu in Seoul.
I see. Okay, so any other embarrassing moments, or do you have a moment where you felt like proud, where you were on top of the world in Korea, like something cool happened or you did something awesome?
Um,
I mean, you mentioned earlier like you got into a club without waiting in line, and you bowed to the security guard, and you were able to bypass everyone. Like that felt cool. But
mhm.
anything more like where you felt like, wow, I really feel good?
Oh yeah, there was a when I went to NBC Studios. There was this show called Byorboragi, like Stargazer or something like that, and like a bunch of like K-pop artists were there, and like 4 Minute was there, Sister was there, and I got to see like I was like sitting feet like a few feet away from
For who?
Hyuna.
Okay.
So like years earlier, I was watching her like when I had roommates in 2009, and I was like, whoa, she's like amazing. And then like I couldn't believe like I was actually in the same room as like all these K-pop celebrities.
Hmm. So what were you doing at the NBC studio?
They just had like an open casting call for foreigners for their show.
Oh, so you wanted to be on the show?
No, for the audience.
Oh, you were in the audience.
Yeah. So
Oh, were you on TV then?
mhm.
Oh, really? Do you
Yeah,
have a clip of that?
yeah, I can send it to you later.
Okay, and we can use it on here, right?
Yeah, I guess if NBC Studios doesn't have a problem
Oh,
with it,
just a few
but
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And we can use pictures of you, like how you looked when you were dressed in all club gear.
Uh, yeah, I have a few older pictures. Like I don't look like it now because I gained a little bit of weight, but back then I was much skinnier and you know.
Cool. And now uh, you're in San Diego County, right? Or is that Riverside County you're in now?
Mhm.
I mean, I know you visited Koreatown, occasionally. Last year you would come to Koreatown sometimes for
Mhm.
work. Um, I would say that was probably the most time you ever spent in K-Town. You didn't really visit Koreatown that often back then, right? Like before.
Oh yeah, because before like LA was just like another world to me. Like it just seemed like a far away place.
Hmm.
But
And
yeah,
then you lived in Korea. You
mhm,
lived in Seoul, which is like the ultimate Korea, right? Like
mhm.
the capital of South Korea. And you came back and you were back in the suburbs again. And then what was it like to visit Koreatown, Los Angeles? Like, does it
Mhm.
even compare to Seoul? I mean, or does it feel more comfortable that it's very Korean? I mean, how is it?
Uh, I would say I would I would say like it's nice to see like a community of like Koreans together and like people preserving their culture. I'd say it's kind of sad to see like gentrification going on to where like Koreans kind of like disperse from Koreatown and move to like different areas of like LA and surrounding counties because like the culture of Koreatown is kind of like going away, I think. Um, like I wouldn't say it compares to Seoul because Seoul's like a city of like millions. That are like all Koreans, but in Koreatown, I think it's very quaint. It's very nice. Like when I went to the different Korean restaurants in Ktown, like with the emos, the aunties there, like they're like just like the aunties or like the shop owners in Korea. Like they're still like welcoming. They still like have that vibe to them that represents Korean culture.
Hmm.
So
Do you have any like favorite restaurants in Koreatown?
yeah, there's like BBQ chicken. Like
BBQ chicken. Well, that's from Korea.
yeah.
What else?
Um there's a nice place called Plateau, I guess.
Ah, the chicken,
Mm.
the pub.
Yeah, so that kind of reminded me of like my days like or my nights in izakayas. So it was cool to see people like hang out there.
So you like chicken and you like drinking places.
Mm.
But what about, did you go to any like just Korean like Korean food restaurants like where you don't go there to really drink, but you go there to just enjoy Korean food?
Yeah, like there's kimbap Chongguk or something like where you
In
can get
Koreatown? You went to
jjajangmyeon.
Koreatown?
Yeah, but in Koreatown, I think me and someone else got some Korean food. I forgot if it was like kimchi jjigae or bibimbap or something, but they really overpriced the food. So
Well, maybe just compared to Korea, right?
yeah,
What was it? Do you remember the price?
I forgot. I just know it was like more expensive than usual. Then
Hmm.
yeah, so I think I got like the Weikook price or the foreigner price.
Really? In
Or
Koreatown?
yeah, or I don't know, like or maybe I got something that was expensive or like a I don't know.
Right. So what's the deal? Do you want to go back to Korea now? I mean, how's, you've been back in the United States for 5 years. I mean, is it going good here, or do you sometimes think about going back?
Oh, I think about going back all the time, but like everyone in Korea that I know, like they have families now, or they're getting married, or they have kids, so they're not as available as they were when they were younger, like 5 years ago. So, and I'm kind of like too old to go clubbing or that kind of stuff. So I would only go back just for the people, like my friends and like my dongsangs, youngs, nunas. Like I would go back for them, but to live, uh, I think that's I had enough, like for 4 years.
You were in Korea for 4 years. You were only going to stay a year, but then going to a club and seeing the women there, you decided to stay for 3 more years,
Mm-hmm.
even though you later realize it's because of makeup and lashes, you say, and
Oh yeah,
that they
but I
don't
think
really look like that, but you still stayed 3 years. And on top of that, prior before going to Korea, you made 2 trips to Japan, spending a total of 40 days in Japan.
mm-hmm.
Um, you're half Filipino, and yet you've never been to the Philippines. I
I've
mean,
been
while you were living in Korea for 4 years, you could have easily taken like a 4 hour flight to the Philippines, yet you never did. I mean, why is that? Are you not curious about your own culture, your own background, and where your family's from?
Uh, yeah, like I guess because I kind of grew up in that culture, like it was like something I got used to. So it's kind of like the same thing with Japan. Like when I went to Japan like 2 times, like 40 days, like I was like, oh, I kind of experienced this already. So like Philippines, like I'm not too interested to go there, but
Even now?
like I'm interested to like for like the lower cost of living, like stuff like that. But like not really, I don't have too much of interest to go there. Like
Mm.
or like I would go there like for travel or vacation, but maybe
I mean,
to
but
live.
but the thing is, you've never even visited. I mean, do you find yourself like even turned off by the Philippines, or I mean, it's kind of interesting that you never visited the motherland despite being so close.
Yeah, like or during my time in Korea, like I wanted to visit Japan and like other like China, like other places, but like I always use my vacations to visit family in the US. But um yeah, I feel like looking back, maybe I should have gone to the Philippines, but like most of my relatives are here in the US. And although I do have relatives in the Philippines, like they're not people that I know too closely.
I mean, apart from the relatives, just for tourism and see where your mother's from, and
Mhm.
have the food there, like local, like Manila food, and
Mhm.
just be immersed in that Filipino life for even a short while.
Oh yeah, I'm sure like if I went and like experienced the people and the culture, I'm pretty sure like my mind would change and I would like it there. But um,
So for now, it's just you're like whatever.
yeah, like Korea is more interesting to me and more fun.
Hmm. Okay, and in your experience, like a lot of the English teachers in Korea, you were one of them, but I've heard you say things about English teachers like foreigners. I mean, you seem to kind of dislike a lot of them. Can you explain what that's about?
Oh yeah, like I say, like the majority of foreigners are pretty cool. Like they're okay, but uh, I gotta change out the battery.
No, 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 no.
Or okay, like I'll record again. Okay, Google, stop.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
just do this last question soon. Okay. So,
okay,
what is it about the foreigners? Go on again. Yeah. You said the majority are cool.
okay. So the majority of foreigners in Korea are cool. Like they're respectful, but I'd still say there's like there's still a sizable percentage that are kind of like incels, or they don't respect Korean culture. Like you'll find like a lot of expat forums on Facebook that are like you'll see like pretty much white guys that are married to Korean women, but they don't respect Korea. Like they act like they know everything about Korea. Like they think Western culture is superior or whatever, but they're just stuck in their own like bubble, and they don't even like they like have like a superficial knowledge of Korea, but they don't know how like Koreans really feel, or they don't understand the difficulties that Koreans experienced, and they don't understand like why like Korea may have like some xenophobic tendencies. Like they just blanket it as like being racist, but they don't understand the history of like what Koreans went through. So whenever I see things like that, I think it's like really bad, because like say if they had kids, they're gonna influence their kids not to like Korea, even though Korea gave them like free housing, like a good middle class salary, uh, that Koreans aspire to. Like they study until 10 p.m. or later at night to have a shot at working at a big company to provide their families with a good income. And then you have like these foreigners that come and they just get like all these benefits just because they have a degree, and the degrees some of them may be fake, like a small percentage of them, and then they live in nice areas of Seoul, and they have all these benefits. So it feels like to me like sometimes Korea is too generous to these foreigners, and these foreigners don't have respect for Korea, and they just talk down about Korea, and they perpetuate all these like stereotypes about like say like the American system being better, but Korea scores higher in math and science. So there's a big disconnect.
When you say that they're incels, you're also saying that they're married to Korean women?
Yeah, so it's a little bit weird because I think what happened is like in Korea, like they kind of like they're really proud of their culture, but I think because of the U.S. after after the Korean War, you know they looked to the U.S. as like a big brother. So I think that was kind of like ingrained in Koreans to like white people. So I don't know, like as you know in Korea, there's kind of like a hierarchy of
You know,
like
but I mean, you said that these are incels, but
yeah,
you say they have Korean wives. So are they incels? I mean, what is that about?
I don't know. It's hard to explain, like, because like socially, like maybe they have like maybe some kind of like white privilege, or they like Koreans are like they can't get like girls in America, but they can get girls in Korea, because in Korea, like like for foreigners, there's a hierarchy. Like if you're white, if you have light skin, you have some kind of advantage over people that are brown or have darker skin. So like because these guys like they couldn't get girls in America, they come to Korea, and then all of a sudden they get all this attention and they get married. Like all of a sudden they get like kind of like bigger heads, like they have bigger egos that develop, and they think
So
they know everything.
so you're saying that these guys that come from the West
Hmm.
are guys that were like incels or guys that couldn't really get women in their home countries. So they went to Korea to meet women. That's why they
Yeah,
went to Korea.
yeah, I'd say so.
And then
Because
once they get a woman, you're saying they get big headed and they start looking down on Koreans?
yeah, like you see it all the time in the forums, and then like when the more level-headed foreigners tell them like that's racist, like you don't understand the culture, they just brush it off, and they're not open-minded, they're closed-minded, like they're just
Um, do you see any similarity between you and these other English teachers?
um
Like, do you think you also went to Korea to get a girlfriend?
uh there's like some aspect of that. Like I can't like lie and be like some kind of white knight and say like I'm not like that. Like of course, like like there's a lot of beautiful people in Korea. Like there's you know this social issue about plastic surgery or whatever, but I'd say on average, like many Korean women are beautiful. Like, and as a guy, like people like would see that and go, oh wow, like there's a lot of pretty women there. But like yeah, I guess the short answer is yes. But like I want to be someone that respects the culture. Like I'm not some colonizer or like some guy that's like gonna look down on Korea or say bad things about Korea when Korea treated me well.
Okay, so you admit that you went there to meet a Korean woman or Korean women, but at the very least, you're not going to disrespect the people or the country and things, right?
Yeah, because like yeah, all my hyungs were like super kind to me, like my brothers. So it's like
Does it make you feel kind of unhappy or sad or upset even that these racist incels were able to find a Korean wife and yet um, you weren't able to?
uh
You feel like that wasn't fair?
like I'd say of course this is not fair, but like I think I still have the power to make that happen.
Mhm.
But like I'm not gonna have like a victim mentality or think like, that's, you know, like that's permanent or something. Like I know I have like, like good specs, like I have like a good education, like even though I was like half Filipino, I was able to date someone. So like even though like I may be like, okay, like they have some kind of privilege, they have some kind of advantage, like, that's them. Like I'm my own person. Like I can succeed with my own power.
So you consider your being Filipino a disadvantage when trying to date Korean women?
Like in general,
Mhm.
but I mean like if you have like charisma, like you're confident,
Right.
then that stuff is like, superficial stuff that doesn't really matter.
But is it your goal then, like ultimately when you get married, I assume you want to get married someday?
Oh yeah, someday.
Yeah. Do you prefer to marry a Korean woman or a Filipino woman or
Um, like the politically correct answer is like anyone.
yeah, but
That's
what do you
but
prefer?
well, I'd say like East Asian, like Korean, Japanese, Chinese.
Just East
Or,
Asian.
or like I have like some like sliver of East Asian in me, but like I don't know. Like I think overall, like culturally, like like East Asian women tend to like keep their figure, like they're more like into like staying in shape. Like Filipinas, like the younger generation, they're a lot better with that. But I've seen like among like people in my family, like kind of getting bigger, like so.
Is that a very important thing for you? Like, maintaining your figure?
Yeah, like in Korea, like when I was like a lot skinnier, like that was on my mind all the time. But in America, like I gained weight, but it's something that I'm gonna work on because like if I want to attract someone, I have to be good looking too. So
So your plan is to also slim down and find an East Asian woman?
I guess yeah, like there's
But
like
what if
this.
you found a Filipino woman who was also, what you like about East Asian women is that they maintain their health or their weight, as you say.
Mhm.
Um, what if you found a Filipino woman like that? Would that be fine with you?
Yeah, I would like, but she'd have to be like a 10 out of 10. Like,
What if she's Korean? What, 7 out of 10? Well, I mean,
uh, yeah, 7 out of 10 is fine.
wow. Hmm.
Like I'm getting older, so I have to lower my standards a bit, right? So
You have to lower from
seven
10
out,
to a 7,
yeah.
and then maybe when you turn 40, how many years until you're 40?
This year it'll be like 4 years.
Oh, wow, okay. So in 4 years, you're going to be 40.
Mhm.
And if you're still single by then, will you lower that 7 down to a 5?
No.
It'll stay at
Well,
7 no matter what.
yeah, like this world has like billions of people, so there has to be like at least one person out there that's at least a 7 out of 10. And like to be fair, like I'll make myself a 7 out of 10. Like I'll be, you know, you know, I'll have like a good job and like in UX design or like have like passive income, more passive income streams, and I'll be like more in shape and stuff. So it's
How
only
do you
fair.
rate yourself now on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you consider yourself?
Probably like a 5,
You're a 5. You're average.
like average,
Okay.
but
So you're not below average. You're not above average. You're just straight average.
yeah, just like an average guy with a dad bod. But
If you're an average guy with a dad bod, are you still a 5?
uh to me, because I have like confidence, but
Yeah.
like so like you have to like fake it till you make it. So like if you have confidence, like the world is your oyster. Like you can act like Tom Cruise or something and
So if
still
you
get
weren't
some,
confident, what would you be from a scale of 1 to 10? Like right now, you're a 5. But if you didn't have the confidence that you have now, what would you be?
maybe like a 4.5.
Wow. In Korea, what do you think you were from 1 to 10?
Maybe like a 7.5 when I was skinnier.
When you were in Korea, you were a 7.5.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
because like female teachers would be like, "Oh, kyo, like he's
Oh, they said
cute."
you were cute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, good luck. I mean,
Thanks.
I think I should also, I need to get healthy too this year, really. Like,
Mhm.
I'm turning 40 next year. So if I'm going to lose weight, I feel I should do it before I turn 40. So I have
Okay.
less than a year to slim down. So
Mhm.
yeah, good luck to the both of us. And, I feel like at this point, I don't feel I'm a 5. I feel I'm more like a 2 or a 3. But, I think, best case scenario, maybe I could be a 6. So I admire your confidence. I don't have that. But anyway, yeah, we should start some kind of workout or diet or health plan or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, why don't we start? We're in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic. Can't
Oh,
really
yeah.
go out to
Totally.
eat or anything. So now is good a time as any to try to cut down. But, for me, I found that I've been ordering a lot of takeout. So it's
Mhm.
actually kind of worse for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I should start too, because on the dating apps, all my pictures are like 5 years old.
You're on
So,
dating apps?
yeah,
Why are you
but
on dating apps?
just to like test myself and
Wait, so
see
you're
like,
you're on dating apps and you're using pictures that are 5 years old
yeah, because like,
from when you were a 7?
yeah, when I was 7, like I had a V-line and stuff like that. So,
But what if they want to meet up? What are you going to do? Are you actually going to meet them?
I'd be like, oh, I have a cold, like I can't meet up right now. Like I'll contact you in 3 months.
Do you use your Do you use your age though?
For some dating apps,
Wow,
for
you lie about your age too.
like some of them you can hide the age, I guess, but
So
like
you don't actually intend to meet anyone. Are you doing this just because you're lonely? You're bored?
just bored, just to see what I can achieve.
You just want to hunt and see what you can
Yeah,
catch.
yeah.
So you have no intention of meeting any of them. Okay.
Or like if they really want to meet up, like and they're cute and seem cool, then like I'll meet up, but I would
But
make an
you
excuse
might
not to meet
shock
up
them.
right now.
You might shock them.
Yeah, that's why like I'll say like, oh yeah, I'm busy. Like give me 3 months. Like
But what if you meet her and then you find out that she's also been using 5-year-old pictures?
if her face is good, like I'll still go for her. Like we'll work out together. Like I don't want to be like that superficial. Like I'll
Wow.
turn it into a positive situation.
Okay, well, good luck with your online dating, I guess. I think
Okay, thanks.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever done that, but using 5-year-old pictures.
Well, like I use filters too, like for my current pictures.
Filters.
Yeah. So filters can make you look 5 years younger and skinnier.
Tips from the master who wrote 4 books on
Yeah.
women.
Still making a profit.
Okay, well,
Okay.
good luck with all that, and yeah, let's we'll do another thing again. I'm
Okay.
sure I don't know how long this lockdown is going to last, how long this pandemic is going to last. So yeah,
Mhm.
let's talk again, huh?
Okay. Stay healthy out there.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on.
Oh, no problem.
Alrighty.